do. We are here.
Yep.
I'm Kay Denniston from the Bourbon County Extension Office, FCS agent, and
I'm Kacy Wiley, the SNAP Ed assistant here in Bourbon County.
And we are glad to be here. We tried last Friday, but the weather said no.
Right.
And we tried the possibility of doing it elsewhere, and it just didn't work out. So we're glad that you all are joining us today. And we will work on fixing this so we can always be there on the first Friday, okay? But today I'm excited. We're going to be making something from our new calendar. And the recipe that we're making today is the one-pot Italian tortellini dinner. It had me on one pot. I love one-pot recipes. So I've already tried this one out on my family. It was a super success. We bought the ingredients to make it the second time, so that's even better. So I have
All right. What do we got next?
Excuse me.
Okay.
I have already browned hamburger and a medium onion and a medium one medium carrot in here, so to speed things up for us, okay? And the rest of the ingredients, now we are ready to add our seasonings. So if you'll hand me our garlic, and this looks like a lot of garlic. When I made it the first time, I thought, oh, we are going to keep all the vampires away. But it really blends in very well, and like I said, it was a success for us. A teaspoon of oregano and a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And Italian seasoning is probably one of my favorite seasonings at home because it's a good comment. Of course, I like Italian food too. And it adds flavor sometimes when you're trying to leave out some of those things that we typically like cut back on salt and stuff like that.
Italian seasoning is great. It's just a good all around. It works just about with anything. You can throw some Italian seasoning in there and it's going to add a lot of flavor without adding that sodium that most of us are, need to limit the amount we have of.
Okay, so I blended that together real well, and then we are ready to, it's going to be a little noisy here. We've got that in, and now we're going to add 4 cups of spinach. Okay, that looks like a lot of spinach too, but the spinach will cook down. And I actually, from making it the other night, I put the spinach in first and then poured the sauce over top of it to kind of help with the speeding up of that, decreasing the size. Spinach is good for us.
It is very good for us, and that's the spotlight ingredient for the recipe this month. It's a good source of vitamins A, C, and K, iron, folate, potassium, and fiber.
And Popeye loved it.
Yeah, that's right, because it made him strong. It's a great plant source of iron, so if your iron levels are low, you might want to consider adding some spinach to your diet.
Okay, now I'm adding a 15-ounce can of no salt tomato sauce, and it's going to take 2 of those.
And this is no salt added, so you can get that too. Just another way to limit your salt intake is to choose the no salt added tomato sauce.
Now, this is something we do at home all the time, and I did find that I felt like this recipe was lacking in moisture a little bit, but we always rinse our cans out because there's still tomato sauce in there, and you know what? I paid for it. I want it.
That's right.
So rinse it around a little bit.
It's a great tip to help stretch that flavor a little bit. Because there's still, that tomato sauce has got tons of flavor left in there.
Also, something I forgot to mention was when I browned the hamburger and the onions and the carrot, I did drain it to drain the fat off, and I did save it just to show you. There was a 1/4 cup of fat in that 1 pound of hamburger.
That's a lot.
So I know sometimes it doesn't look like there's much fat in there, so we're tempted to move on and just not skip the draining process, but I wanted you to see how much would have been in here if I hadn't.
It helps just keep the fat down on this recipe. Just make it a little healthier. That's what we're trying to do. Most of us, in the new year, think we're going to eat really healthy, and this is a certainly a great recipe to start off the new year.
Okay, that spinach is working in.
Do you want to go ahead and add the mushrooms in there too?
Our mushrooms, yes.
So it's boiling, so you may not be able to hear it, but it's bubbling over here. So,
and I'm glad Kacy reminded me about the mushrooms because I'd forgotten them, because there's someone in our household that does not like mushrooms. So when I made it at home, I left the mushrooms out.
Yeah.
So,
and that's, something absolutely you could tailor to your family. If they didn't like the mushrooms, you just leave them out. It's perfectly okay. They do provide some nutrients, and in something like this, you can maybe hide them a little bit more because they're going to cook down a little bit with the tomato sauce and the ground beef and the spinach. So they're full of vitamin D. So they're a great vegetable source of vitamin D.
We got all kinds of goodies going on in here.
This is certainly chock full of lots of vitamins and minerals here.
It's also a cold weather. That's the best way I know to explain it.
Yeah.
There's just certain foods that just make me think they're of warmth and comfort food, and that's the way it was.
Yes, it's kind of like you get your comfort food, but you get your vitamins too.
There you go.
So,
okay, are we ready for the tortellini?
all right. So it says that we covered with lid and simmer on low for 10 minutes.
Okay. I'm getting ahead of the game here. It is boiling or simmering, so I'm going to cover it. A couple of things I'm going to tell you while we're doing that is, number one, the tortellini. I don't know if any of you have been to the grocery store the last couple of days or week, but things are looking kind of slim at the grocery. So I'd like to say that's the reason I made this mistake, but Kay made a mistake. I picked up a bag of what I thought was tortellini. It was stuffed with cheese, and I came back and I told Kacy I couldn't get it just stuffed with cheese, but it's stuffed with spinach and cheese. And since there's spinach in our recipe, then hey, this ought to work just fine. And then I look again, and it's not tortellini, it's ravioli. So rather than make another trip back to the grocery, I mean, this can happen. So we're going to put ravioli in here, and we've made us a new recipe.
There you go.
NEP. We'll have to submit that one to NEP. So.
I was like, it's similar type pasta and ingredients, just a different shape. It'll be fine.
So we got square instead of round.
And I think the recipe does call for frozen. This is not frozen, so it's going to be a little quicker to warm up in this than if you're waiting for the other to frozen. So I think you could probably use either with this, whether it's the frozen or whatever you can find.
Now, I think both of us like tortellini. We use tortellini. I think a lot of families don't. It's a little bit different. So this is, again, another way to introduce something new to your family or your children in the tortellini shells, or ravioli, whichever works for you.
Whichever you can find.
You want to talk to them about the calendar a little bit while we're waiting for this?
So I'm so excited. We waited on this for a little while this year. So it finally made it to us late in December. So if you have not been out to the Bourbon County Extension Office to pick up your 2022 Food and Nutrition calendar, we hope that you stop by. If you need one, let us know. We could maybe get you one another way if you don't have availability to get out here. I will be dropping them off with some of our community partners, so you can find them at different places around town. Farmers Market has some, Senior Citizen Center will have some, and just some different places out in the community. I love this calendar. It is full of 12 different recipes. So every year we come out with a new version of this. There's lots of helpful tips in here. So, you can find out some measurements, substitutions. There's some information about what produce is available here in Kentucky during the different months, right? We're in January. Obviously, there's not a lot available because of our growing season. But it does say that sweet potatoes are available. So you might check and see if anybody's got any sweet potatoes that were grown. But then as we get into the calendar, of course, this is January's recipe here. Over to the side, there's going to be some very helpful information. You're going to learn how to make this a meal. So we can take our tortellini, and I think, Kate, when they made this at home, you all had a salad with it.
We had a salad, and it was the perfect. It was just enough. You have enough vegetables in here that you only needed a salad. Okay, we typically feel like we need something else, and a salad was our pick. And then I found out it was recommended on the calendar.
Yeah, there you go. So a salad, and then have some fruit like a clementine orange with it, and then a glass of water, and there you have a complete meal. It also has our ingredient spotlight. Of course, we said this is spinach this month is our spotlight. And then there's a tip for a well-being. I like this one. This is a breathing exercise. So your tip for this month is just to lay in bed at night, put your hands on your stomach, and just practice that deep breathing. So in and out, just while you're laying there, just to help relax you a little bit as you get ready to go to sleep. And then during the day, it gives you some information about being active. So on every day of the month, there's a little box that you can check. Those boxes are for your physical activity. So every day that you do at least 30 minutes of physical activity, give yourself a little check. And then at the end of the month, you can see how many days you were active. Okay? And then of course, you can always visit the planteatmove.com website. That is the Nutrition Education Program's website. All of our recipes are on there, as long as other tips and helpful information about different things. Okay?
Physical activity is focused on heavily there too.
Yes,
so.
yes. So
Plan,
you can
eat, move.
Yep. And then as we go through the different ones, I'll give you a couple little sneak peeks here of some recipes. There's some substitutions in the back, pantry staples, and then of course you can tear out the recipes and just have the little cards if you don't want to keep, the big calendar. So lots of information, and then food safety as well.
And on the substitution list, did it have ravioli for tortellini?
It does not, Kay, but I think it makes the perfect substitution.
What Kacy's not telling you, there is a recipe in this calendar that she submitted and was tested by NEP, and it got printed. So we're you'll have to keep tuning in to find out which one it is. Okay.
Yeah. So we're very proud of this calendar, and so let us know if you need one, or stop out, 603 Millersburg Road to get your very own copy of this. So they're limited. We don't have just an unlimited supply of them, so make sure you get yours.
Okay. Very good. It's been a little over 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and add the tortellini. It looks like everything is coming together really well. I wish y'all could see better.
Smells good.
But we're going to add the ravioli.
Can't smell it either, but it smells good.
You can imagine it. I will have to tell a story on a family member when my granddaughter had COVID, and she, like other patients, lost their sense of taste and smell. And I sent her an arrangement, and it had Reese cups in it. And I said, well, I hope you saved the Reese cups till after, when you got your sense of taste and smell back. And she said, no, I just ate them and imagined what it tastes like. So y'all are just gonna have to imagine.
So you imagine what ours tastes like, and then you can go out and pick up the ingredients and make it for your family. Understand we might have some winter weather moving in again this weekend, so this would be a great recipe to fix to have for that winter weather.
I had like a fourth a cup of water on standby because, like I said, when I made it at home, it just didn't have enough liquid in it to actually, I felt like, to cook the carrots thoroughly. And for one thing, carrots are take a little bit more cooking time than some of this other.
And you do need to heat up that ravioli, so you do need to have enough to cover it and get it, mixable in there. Especially if you're using the frozen ravioli that our recipe calls for. Or ravioli, tortellini. Look, I'm calling it ravioli now. Whatever.
We'll ask for forgiveness.
That's right. It's all right.
Now, when this is finished, it's a beautiful dish. I don't think y'all can see it, but it's a beautiful, all the colors and everything. It's just it's a dish you'd want to take to the table, I think. And it recommends that we put mozzarella, shredded mozzarella over top of it, which again makes it beautiful. Now, for my family, there's just 2 of us, so I did that. I did exactly what the recipe said. Well, we didn't eat all this in one sitting. So I highly recommend, if you're not going to eat it all at one time, that maybe you dish it up and then put your mozzarella over it. And the other advantage to that is, if I like lots of mozzarella and you like just a little, then we can control how much we put on it.
That's right, yeah.
So I am going to go ahead and dip a little bit of this just because I want you to see it. It does need to cook just a little bit longer, and I'm going to be honest with you, when this is Facebook's over, I'll put it back in here and finish cooking it, but I think you'll be able to see it on this plate a little better.
It's just so, and look at those colors. You know, when we think about eating a rainbow, this is it. Let's get our green, our orange, our white from the mushrooms. Just a beautiful mix of ingredients there.
I really like it. It's past the Denniston household test by far. It will be made several times.
Yeah, it's going to be a hit, I have a feeling, at the Wiley household too, because we love tortellini, we love ravioli, whichever we can use in it, we'll use.
And we will, or I will, okay, I will post in the comment section how the ravioli turned out, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, if it's not as good, I've had it both ways then, okay?
Yeah.
I've had it with the tortellini and I'll have it with the ravioli. If that doesn't work that well, I'll make sure that you're aware of it, okay? We won't keep any secrets from you. But we've really got a lot of good iron in this preparation because of all the spinach and the ravioli and the spinach that we put in it. So.
And this makes 8 servings. So if you're looking for something to feed, you know, if you have a big family, it does make 8 servings. If you have a small family, you can have leftovers, which is always good, right? Just like cook woods, eat 2 or 3 times.
3 meals at my house, okay?
Yeah.
3 meals.
Yeah. So this would easily make 2 meals for my family, and we're all about that. So a 1-pot dish that makes 2 meals, hey, it's a winner in my book.
So we're excited about our new year, our new start. Facebook Live, we made it through a whole year of the calendar in 2021, and we've started on 2022. And if you're new, please come back and join us again the first Friday of the month of February. It'll be the first Friday of every month at noon. And like I said, we're going to make arrangements so it will be the first Friday of every month from this point on, okay?
Yes.
And just be patient with us and offer suggestions. We love to hear suggestions.
Yeah.
We also love to hear how it turns out when you make it for your family.
Absolutely. Yeah. Leave us a comment. Let us know if you make this at home.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.